Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another night of Duo Gaming. Tonight we are with Adventures Anonymous with our lovely DM Okami. Um, if you missed yesterday's fun, we did some Jackbox party night, and a few of our people were in among us in the public Discord. Um, if you haven't yet, join the public Discord. We're going to be doing some stuff in there that won't be streamed. Maybe they will be streamed later, but we're always playing games, chit chatting around a little bit and just doing some other stuff. So, yeah, check that out. Check out our YouTube channel. I'll probably be posting the Jackbox Party Night tomorrow. And remember, Journey's Inventory starts up again next week. We've had our off week for it. And we get to see what happens inside the frozen cave. But for now, we are focused on Adventures Anonymous. And I am going to pass it over to Okami. So let's do it. Oh wait. Pause. The audio isn't working again. Hold on. Why isn't the audio working? Stand by, everybody. Oh, hold on. Let me put the turtle up. This is true. This is true. Why properties device? This one here, maybe. It should actually be going out through the. Is it that one? Somebody say something. No. No, that's not it. Windows Update always messes with all my stuff, and I thought I had it all set up. Is that it? No, that's not it.
I didn't mean to break it.
I think it's working now. Yes, okay. All right, thank you for the technical difficulties, everyone, and we're back. And I'll say again, passing it over to Molly or Okami.
And yes, thank you for the technical difficulties. And welcome back, everyone. It was nice to have an off week for Adventures Anonymous. I do sound a little rough, been struggling with some throat damage for a couple weeks, so I'm going to be probably a little scratchy for this week. I should be back up to my normal, glorious, melodious self next week. If not, I'll have cough drops on the ready.
But I'm a little scratchy.
You are a little
No,
Do
scratchy.
I was
you
the one
not
that failed
already
for the
have
second.
cough drops?
I do. I just don't have them within arm's reach. I have a whole
This
big
should
bag
be
of them.
fixed.
I have a whole big bag of them right next to Hellstrom, who's in a different room.
I will be right back.
I was gonna say, I was waiting on that.
Anyway,
Eating medicine.
stop doing that.
I mean, you knew it was coming.
I wasn't expecting the tactical assault cough drops. Anyway, where was I before I was interrupted by a tactical assault cough drop? Oh yes, our intrepid adventurers had found themselves in the town when they woke up with a carriage right out front, being escorted by a rather skeletal-looking gentleman up to the castle of Zypher. They found themselves, as they made their way in, being greeted and announced to the presence of King Zypher. They escorted Tanzanite, still posing as the Lady Raylith, up to the front to meet Zypher, who immediately saw through the disguise, challenged our intrepid band to prove their strength against the indomitable Sebastian, the butler. Our heroes proved themselves valiant fighters and started to have a dialogue with Zypher, but opted to instead pass the night, as it had been a very long journey. They were all worn down and tired. We come back again to the next morning, where our band is awoken with knocks on the door. For those who are used to existing in the Underdark, namely you, Scratch, this is a delightfully pleasant wake up call for you, Scratch. This is the second day, the second full night's rest you've had with no sunlight peeking in. There's no brightness. It's just wonderfully delightful cold darkness. For the rest of you, you are waking up in pitch blackness. For those of you who do have night vision before anybody says anything, because I know at least one of you is going to say it, your rooms have been excellently furnished, extraordinarily high quality, very plain, very basic. They very much are guest rooms. But you have all been awoken by a knock at your door. What will you do?
Hate it here.
I answered the door.
Rain,
Who's?
you answer the door. Oh, I'm sorry. What's Scratch?
I was just gonna ask who's in what rooms. Do we each have our own, or what?
Yes,
do we...
everyone was escorted to a room that is perfectly situated to your size.
Okay. Go ahead, Rain. I apologize.
Rain, you open the door, and a woman is standing behind. She's very much a young adult, possibly an older-looking teenager, is standing there in a maid's outfit, holding a tray in front of her, a silver tray, on which a letter is seated. And she says to you, "You have been formally invited to breakfast with His Majesty King Zypher." And she says this in perfect modern common.
I humbly accept. Thank you very much.
She bows low before taking the tray and walking away.
Okay.
Kyrios doesn't get up to open the door. He just yells, "Who is it?"
You hear from the side of the door a young feminine sounding voice. "Wake up service, sir."
I get up out of bed and now I open the door.
You see standing there a young woman, probably young adult or older teenager, holding a silver platter with a letter on the front, and she says to you, "You have been formally invited to breakfast with Lord King Zypher."
I take the letter and I look at it. I look up and down the hall. Do I see anything?
You see more young women standing in front of the doors.
I look back at her. I just give a nod, step back in, and close the door.
And she walks away. Not that you see, but she walks away.
Did Brutus get his own room, or is he rooming with me?
Would he have wanted his own room, or would he have wanted to room with you?
I have no idea.
You're supposed to know these things, Doctor. Yes, he would have been offered his own room, but he would have had the option of staying with you, whichever made him more comfortable, because, you know, they don't really know how to handle a talking dog.
Why is everyone surprised about talking dog?
It is an unusual occurrence.
You'll find out as you make your way to breakfast why they're so surprised by a talking dog. You'll find out.
He has his own room.
Okay.
Brutus is going to go up to the door and say, would you mind opening the door for me?
The door swings inwards, and Brutus sees there standing a young woman, a young adult, older teenager, holding a letter on a tray. She formally announces you are formally invited to breakfast with Lord King Zypher.
That's very nice. Where do I go?
An escort will arrive to collect you once all of your party members have confirmed or denied the invitation. Once all of your members have been collected, you will be escorted to the grand dining room.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
She just shuts the door quietly and makes her way out.
Would probably already be up because, let's face it, they have spent most of the night agonizing about the fact that there's so much less of a connection here, and they're feeling a little bit anxious about not being able to bathe in the light of Pelor, and they would muster up all of the smiley days. What did you say?
Was that canon, or
What?
was it canon that Augie was hallucinating for the entire fight?
Oh yeah. By the way, Augie, you were hallucinating for the entire fight and tackled Carius.
Fun.
So that's why you two weren't in the fight. By the way. But yes, Augie, you are feeling you're actually feeling surprisingly more rested. You do have a little bit of a headache, but it's nothing you haven't dealt with before.
I swing open the door and I say, "Good morning."
And the young woman behind the door nods politely, and she holds out a silver tray with a letter on it, formally inviting you to breakfast with Lord King Zypher.
Is there a dress code?
Whatever would be most comfortable, His Lord and Majesty will most likely be wearing pajamas and possibly a bathrobe.
That sounds fun? Question mark.
His Majesty prides comfort over fashion.
You know, I can get down with that, honestly. Thank you. Has anyone tried Mr. Scratch yet?
I don't believe so. I believe that the captain, I believe he's further down to the end. I believe the Lord Majesty put him in what I believe was the captain's suite, but I'm not sure. I am your personal attendant for today.
I don't know what to do with a personal attendant, to be honest. I've never had one.
And she just smiles very sweetly and just for the moment, all you have to do is just confirm whether or not you'd like to come for breakfast.
Yes, but can you find Scratch's personal attendant and just warn them?
She just kind of gives you a very confused smile and just kind of, yes, I will make sure that a warning gets passed along. Is there anything specific I should be warning for?
He isn't the most hospitable, and especially in the morning. So
And she nods.
proceed with caution.
She pulls a notebook out of somewhere, just kind of it appears in her hands, and she just goes, "Proceed with caution. Not good with mornings. Grumpy? Question mark."
Oh, certainly.
Yes, I will make sure this gets passed along. We will have another escort to attend you once all of your party members have confirmed or denied the invitation to breakfast. So for now, feel free to just relax in your room. We have full bathing facilities available should you feel the desire for a bath or shower.
Yeah, actually, that would be really great if I could have a pre-breakfast bath. Is that... Could you show me where I'd be going?
She nods and she comes into your room and she goes over to what you thought was a completely inconspicuous panel and just kind of turns a flower-looking handle, and the door slides into the wall, and inside is a fully furnished, fully internally plumbed bathroom.
Holy shit.
And she starts pointing out different features, and she shows you how to work the tub, and she goes, "And let me know if you do somehow run out of hot water. We haven't had that problem yet, but the Lord does have us warn all of his guests. Should it become a problem, he is to be alerted right away. But as of yet, and she kind of counts on her fingers, in the 487 years I've been here, we haven't had that problem yet."
400... How? What?
And she just kind of gives you a funny look, and she goes, "Oh, well, I know I haven't been working here very long, but I'm starting to figure out my way around the castle. Some of our other staff who are much, much older than I am, I think Lady Millie just hit her 1,000th year. She's been here the longest, and she knows everything about the castle. I'm still pretty young. I haven't fully learned my way around here yet, but if you do have any questions, I am your personal attendant, and I will be happy to assist."
Why, thank you.
Are there any other questions?
No, I think I'm good.
She nods and bows again and heads out of the room, shutting the door softly behind her.
Guess I'll bathe until I get the summons.
All right. Anyone else going to answer the knock on the door?
Of course. Or go ahead. You first.
For an answer to my message, Molly.
Hmm?
I'm waiting for an answer to my message that I sent you.
Of course you did.
Was that a yes?
That's me thinking.
Is that what wet burning smell is?
You forget I know where you sleep at night.
I know.
Wait, those cogs? I thought that was Hallstrom thinking.
All of a sudden,
My
you all
processes
start-
are up to date, thank you.
all of a sudden, everyone starts to smell the faintest whiff of campfire, and you all suddenly understand that the divine being that controls your world is having a very hard time pondering a question. Roll me a D10, Lachlan. Just a straight D10.
Just straight D10?
Uh-huh. Okay, good news. It does not explode in your face.
That's good.
And actually, you somehow managed to get these two almost entirely opposite substances to blend together smoothly. You're not sure how you did it, but you did it.
Can I roll a D6 to see how many doses I have?
Yeah, go for it. You have 2 doses. One is the perfectly mixed dose. The other kind of reminds you of salad dressing. Because they don't quite want to mix together, but if you shake the vial enough, it will mix.
I yell to the knock. Come in, come in.
A young woman enters your chambers holding a silver platter with a letter on top.
Hello. Can I take that platter off you for a moment?
Sure. I also should inform you that you have been formally invited to breakfast with Lord King Zypher. She looks at you very questioningly and very confused.
I hand the salad dressing vial and say, just take about half of this.
Unfortunately, I must politely decline. I am not currently allowed to accept any sort of food or drink from visitors while I'm on duty.
Of course. Do you know where Scratch is?
I don't. I am your personal attendant for the day, so I have not been informed of the whereabouts of your captain.
Okay. What about Augie?
Like I said, I'm your personal attendant, so I'm aware of your location, but of no one else's.
Understood. Thank you. I hand back the tray.
And she's just kind of looking like, is that a yes for breakfast?
Wait, it's morning?
Yes?
How many hours has it been since the fight?
It's been about 8 hours. 8 to 10.
At least I slept some of it.
Lachlan,
Yeah?
roll me a wisdom save real quick and take disadvantage.
Sure.
Okay. You hear a loud voice in your head that sounds just like Cypher going, "Do not experiment on my staff," before it fades.
That's fair.
So the attendant is still just kind of standing in the doorway. He's like, "Yes? No? Would you like to sleep more?"
No, I'm okay. Sips from flask.
She's just looking at you very concerned before just kind of very politely bowing and just like slowly backing out of the room and shutting the door.
Cool. That's me.
I'll go last if there's anyone else. Was that everyone else?
Alstrom, what are you doing?
Well, of course it would be. I would answer the door. It'd be rude not to.
Okay. Young woman standing behind the door with a silver platter with a letter on it, and she kind of looks at you and she's just kind of, you have been formally invited to breakfast with Lord King Cypher, and she's very pointedly staring at your face. Like, she's making real intense eye contact.
I do not eat, but it would be rude to decline the invitation. Very well.
Of course. Is there anything I can get you before breakfast?
Access to the library.
Permission for that will have to come from the Lord Master. I'm sure you can ask him at breakfast. You need oil for joints or anything? Any cleaner
Not
for
think
your
the
eyes?
Underdark had access to crude oil.
Well, it's not necessarily that vulgar, but it's usually pretty decent. It doesn't talk much.
Error. Humor detected. Filtering emotions.
I'm sorry, did I say something funny?
Do not worry about it. You will tell your master that I accept the invitation and will be there shortly.
Once all of your party members have confirmed or denied their invitation, you will have an escort arrive. For now, we do ask that you stay in your room until breakfast is served.
Very well.
Alright, she nods, she bows, and she heads out.
Well, if you said 8 to 10 hours,
Yeah.
Scratch
Are
would.
we gonna have Masaru answer the door?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, sneaky boy!
Hey,
You're
Theodore
not
will.
done yet.
I know. You may enter.
Door swings open. Woman steps in. Tray, letter, invitation.
Yurei will politely accept.
Politely.
But the moment she leaves, he's going to start sneaking around.
Is that delightfully crossed with polite?
That's what I'm
Yes.
trying to figure out. Oh, he's just. Oh, absolutely! I would sure heckin' love to come to breakfast. That sounds just delightful.
Like, I'm totally keeping my cool within enemy territory.
This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine.
Remember your training.
Don't panic. Grab your towel. Don't panic.
Basically.
So, when you say sneaking around, are you trying to leave the room? Are you staying in the room? What are you trying to do?
I would like to try to leave the room.
Okay. So you go up to the door, and it is magically locked.
Can I try to unlock it?
You can sure fucking try.
What do you want me to roll?
Give me a sleight of hand. I gotta stop having you roll that.
It may just be that if a 19 is an auto success, he just fine.
I rolled over 30.
Yeah, I know. You weren't supposed to do that. The door swings open, and if you look out, you see that there is one doorway that has an attendant standing in front of it.
I will watch.
Okay. She knocks on the door. Scratch.
Well, if we've had 10 hours, Scratch would have slept for 8 of those and had, like, one of the most restful, best sleeps he's ever had. So much so that his brain was allowed to function at full capacity. And so, 2 hours before most people wake up, he's up, had an epiphany, and is working furiously. He's taken apart his gloves of thievery. He's taken apart part of Salt's head. And he's been working furiously for the last 2 hours as the door is knocked upon. What? Oh, hurry. Come in.
Yurei, you watch as she, holding the tray, opens the door and steps inside. And Scratch, stepping into your room, is a young woman holding a tray, letter on top, invites you to breakfast.
Yeah, I'm not looking back at her. Still working.
It's she's just standing there very politely.
Augie, if that's you, I could use a hand right here. And he points up to the top of Salt's head.
As you're working, a pair of hands enter your vision. They are definitely not Augie's.
What?
They
Who are you?
Hello, I am your attendant for the day. I am here on behalf of my master to formally invite you to breakfast, and also to attend and assist as needed.
Great. Hold this right here.
She does.
He starts screwing in pieces. He's got this, like, kind of tarnished bit of metal that's wrapped around in, like, a circle kind of thing, and he's installing it on Salt's head. I just gotta work these 2 wires in here. And, wait, did you say breakfast?
Yes, the lurking Cypher is awake and has invited all of you and your crew to breakfast in the dining hall.
Okay. How soon?
Once all of your party members have confirmed or denied the invitation, I will report back, and then about 5 to 10 minutes after that, an escort will arrive to escort you to the dining hall.
Wonderful. That's amazing. I need just that much time. Thank you very much. You can go.
Of course, we will have someone to you shortly. And so she leaves, and the door clicks shut. Yurei?
Real quick, if that attendant had been warned that Scratch would be grumpy in a bad mood, he was completely the opposite.
Yeah, she kind of like opened the door fully expecting to be like growled at and snapped at, and just the fact that you were up, energetic, and delightfully pleasant, she's like, I am so happy to help this guy. This is great. And Yurei, you would have seen her go in. You would have heard a little bit of the muffled conversation, and you would have seen her leave.
Okay.
All right.
I have no idea what I'm going to do here, but I'm definitely going to scout things out.
So are you leaving your room?
Yes. Yes, I will.
As soon as you leave your room, you feel like somebody has reached out from your room, grabbed the back of your shirt, and pulled you back in. And the door then slams in your face.
Surprised bark noise.
Do you want to try again?
No.
All right, so does anybody want to do anything for those 10-15 minutes, or do we want to just go ahead and skip time?
I don't have anything to do.
Lachlan's gonna take a shower.
Okay.
Probably much needed.
Yurei will take a quick shower.
Okay.
Have we been back to the airship since we left Athea?
No.
Nope.
Or pull it, pour
The crew's got it handled.
In that case, Kyrius will just get dressed and wait for his escort.
All right.
Scratch is going to be working on Salt. And it's kind of one of those things where he's like putting pieces on and taking pieces off. And he's torn apart his gloves. He's like, I gotta have something that I've worn for a long time, has kind of a magical imprint on me, and if I stick it in here, and a piece of this here, okay. And he just kind of waits for a second, like, climbs up Salt and, like, smacks him upside the head with the all-purpose tool. Hello?
Something whirs for a moment when you smack him,
Yes.
and then it just kind of fades.
Oh, Colonel McBikey Tail. God. Maybe it wasn't such a good dream. I could have swore I had this all figured out. Well, I mean, I did figure out one thing, but... Go ahead.
You're fine. As you're muttering to yourself, Scratch, you all hear a second knock on the door, and you hear a voice call out to you. This is a different voice than you've heard before, but it's a voice that calls out to you, stating your escort to breakfast has arrived.
Lachlan's gonna sling the satchel on, leave behind the probably by now stained black lab coat.
As it is stained and is also black, or is so stained it is now black?
It was white at one point.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And Scratch will just kind of leave Salt to charge and put his pieces away a little dejectedly, but he will, however, take the ring off of Spark's tail, the Rild of Guild Converse, and slowly put it onto his finger because he can now attune to 4 magical items.
Damn.
Nice.
Are you fancy, huh?
Level 10.
All right.
And head to breakfast after that.
We leveled up?
Yeah.
By the way, you leveled up.
Oh,
You
You
leveled up.
guys don't told me!
we need to put these things, for those of us that go to bed earlier than the rest of you, we need to put these things in the Discord.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Love you guys.
I was even leveling all of my secondary characters like before the session.
Same.
I was watching
Okay.
last week's Critical Role before we started. I didn't pay attention to what was going on.
I was coloring on my iPad. I was hyper focusing.
That's okay.
So now that you have an iPad, you can do all of our character art, right?
Don't pressure me like that on stream.
I'm sorry.
No pressure at all. If we have any artists watching, fan art is always appreciated, but nothing is required. No pressure for anyone to make art they don't want to make. Except
Yeah,
for my
how much
fiance,
for
but that's
commission?
different. We also have some of our artists are open for commissions. If you check in our public Discord, they are always open to asks. Understand that requests can be denied, but we do have at least a couple of people open for commissions. Anyway, advertising's over.
Yes.
So as you all open your doors, you see it is your same attendant that met you this morning, with a soldier standing behind them. Everybody roll me a knowledge history check.
I like these.
History.
I'm not doing that.
I'm in the character mancer leveling up. I don't think I can right now.
That's fine. Rain, I'm gonna say bullshit on that 6. I'm giving you that 16 because this is something you would know. Just because noble background.
Okay.
For everyone there, Kyrius, this is probably not something you know anyway, so we are going to, this would be fine for you not to know. For those of you who rolled above a 10, you would know this is ancient armor from Zypher's domain. This art has been seen. Kyrius, this you can tell this is old armor just because it's ancient designs. You don't specifically recognize it as specifically Zypher's. You can kind of infer that, but all of you recognize this as armor that was used in what is known as the Battle of the Heroes, in which Zypher had supposedly died. This is the armor that was worn by the soldiers. And your attendants are standing there with the soldiers behind them, and they escort you all into the dining hall. And as you come into the dining hall, you hear music, you hear a quiet chatter, and you smell fresh, warm food, baked goods, roasting meat, all kinds of just fresh, warm food. And as you enter, the hall is filled with what appears to be a full noble court. There are lords and ladies chatting and talking at these small tables. You see Zypher sitting at the head of one of the tables with Sebastian by his side. You see that the head table has been left open, and you see that there are placards at the front table with each of your names. Scratch, you have been given a seat next to Zypher, as you are the captain, and the one of the highest nobles here, Rain, you have a seat close as well, and everyone else has seats more or less assigned by what would be their noble class.
Oi.
I don't
So
know
I'm
how.
a-
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm middle class. 'Cause I'm basically a merchant or artisan.
Yeah.
Where would Hellstrom fall under, given his background?
Hellstrom, you are seated actually, funnily enough, next to Yurei, who is seated not at a spot he would have expected, being the essentially the shadow of a noble. You are seated. Yurei is seated where he would expect his master to be seated.
I'm in
I
the
will
back
sit in his
because I
place.
came from the woods.
You and Kyrius, Augie, you guys are both seated at the far ends of the table.
Is
Well.
is Brucius given the place of pride on the table as he should?
No. He's seated next to either Augie or Kyrius on the end, at the very end of the table. He's a dog.
Why do they treat me like this?
What do
Brutus,
you
as
mean?
hang on. As Brutus asks why they treat him like this, a skeletal cat walks by.
So it wasn't the fact that he was a talking dog, it's just the fact that he was a dog that still had his, flesh and fur.
The fact that he's a dog.
Makes sense.
And as you're all noticing that, you notice a couple more cats. One is very much an undead cat. It still has fur and flesh. Is definitely missing a chunk at about its ribs, and you notice that they are just casually lounging on Zypher's lap.
Ah, he's a cat dad.
I like cats. What can I say?
Well,
Local looks around at the other the people around him. So, are you artisans as well?
It's all people from your crew at the head table.
Oh, right.
You guys are all at the head table. You are the guests of honor. You've just been seated and assigned by class.
Why does everybody look so rough? Didn't y'all sleep good last night?
don't lack.
Lachlan says, I slept maybe 4 hours, but I managed to make it.
I slept great.
This unit got adequate charging.
Augie looks dead. Like, they're recharged, but there's, serotonin levels so low.
Like some hellfire, bro?
Absolutely not.
I got some health potions.
I don't think that's gonna help. This place is, nice and hospitable and the like, but I don't like being treated like all that matters is where I was born.
Scratch kind of takes a look around.
Most of the nobles are looking at you guys very curious, but as you look around, they very quickly look away. Like, you're guests of the king, so it's not their place to look at you, but also, you guys are really interesting.
I feel like just breathing down here makes us weird.
Well, I'm also substantially younger than probably anyone here.
Especially the dead ones. No. No laugh. Okay. I don't know why y'all in such a bad mood.
So... Well, coffee's not working.
And as you guys are chatting, trays of breakfast foods are brought out. Pretty much anything you can think of is brought out for food. And Cypher stands, kind of brushes himself off, maneuvers the cats around. Obviously he doesn't knock the cats off his lap. He just carefully maneuvers them. And he stands as if he's going to give a grand speech before raising his glass and sitting back down. And everyone starts to serve themselves food.
Scratch has a healthy appetite today. Much more than usual.
What
You're just
kind
going
of
to use Mage Hand to grab
Sure.
stuff out of reach. Sorry, Augie.
It's okay. They were just asking what kind of food was served.
A little bit of everything: pancakes, waffles, toast, bacon, fruit, vegetables, milk, juice, coffee, tea, water,
Fish.
probably. A lot of fish.
Egg.
He takes a second to say an internal prayer, and then kind of side eyes around, seeing if this is a Feywild situation. Like, if I eat the food here, do I have to stay?
Lachlan hands Augie a pomegranate.
Oh no!
From what you
Oh,
can
I'm
tell,
allergic. I'm so sorry.
Augie, from what you can tell, this is all normal surface food. Everything appears to be not enchanted, nothing. It just appears to be well-cooked food.
I suspiciously eat something plain.
Rain tucks in with gusto.
Lachlan starts absent-mindedly mixing berries together with a few tinctures from Brutus's bag.
You are not sitting by Brutus.
Can I get up, go over to Brutus's bag, grab my tinctures?
That you can do. I would assume Brutus is pouting.
It's okay, buddy. I know that you're royalty.
The way the table is set up, is it like a long table or like a round table kind of deal?
It's a long table.
So there's different stuff at different lengths away from me.
Yeah. And you are seated directly next to Zypher, by the way.
So I see some bread at the far end. So I'm gonna reach into my cloak and I'm gonna pull out and throw a little scrap and use Mage Hand to bring myself a piece of bread over.
Excellent.
I was gonna say that I'm gonna use Mage Hand to grab stuff as well, so there's just Mage Hands going everywhere over the table.
Well, for thematic reasons, I'm gonna use the little scrap hand that he built as the Mage Hand for mine. So
Yeah.
just to keep that thing around.
Excellent.
Be known as Sniff in my brain.
Sniff, scratch, and
If we find
a nose.
Cypher's enjoying watching the mage hands run around. You guys can hear bits of conversation that is happening. A lot of people are making small talk about like matters in the kingdom. Some people are talking about you guys. Some people are talking about the woman sitting next to Cypher, which Scratch, of course, you guys would see is Tanzanite.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of conversation is about like why you guys are here and what's going on, because it's so strange for the Lord himself to take guests.
We seem to be the talk of the town right now. I'm not sure I like it.
Do you think they need medical care?
They're
I
dead.
doubt it.
Maybe some broken bones. No? Okay.
You're awfully chipper this morning, Captain.
I had a great night's sleep. I had these ideas when I was asleep. And, well, one of them didn't work, but the rest of them were really good ideas.
It's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very good. I feel very energized, and I don't have the bright, giant sun thing in my eyes all day, so I don't have to squint all the time.
You know, I heard about a dwarf that had, I think he called them sunny day spectacles. Maybe we should get you some.
I don't have
Are you talking
ears.
about thin slices of obsidian that work as glasses?
Yeah.
I don't have ears.
We could make goggles for you.
It's fine. Here's what it is.
It's
Anyway.
like goggles of night vision, goggles of day vision.
Goggles of day vision. Well, I look over to Zypher. You know why we're here.
Probably best to address that after breakfast.
Business will come after food, yes. For now, enjoy yourselves.
Augie. I call down to the end of the table.
Yes.
I apologize for my mix-up yesterday with my potion, but based off my notes from before, I was able to refine it. I have 2 doses. I have no idea what it does.
Are you asking something?
I was wondering if you would like to take them with me, and we can see if it works, or if this combination of ingredients is just doomed to failure.
Will I die?
Maybe I shouldn't take it at the same time as you.
I can just imagine that everyone at the surrounding tables looks horrified.
Yeah, that a lot of people are listening to your conversations and are very much just like, what the fuck?
Or excited because, they'd have company.
I
don't
lean
know
over to Kyrius and I'm like, do you think if I die here, I have to stay here?
Well,
Yes.
God.
Just, yes.
We are in the presence of one of the most powerful necromancers this world has ever seen.
And that's why I whispered that to Kyrius. You nosy Nelly.
Lachlan's perception is too high.
I mean, answer's not no, but time and circumstance depending.
Of course, of course.
Cypher at one point just kind of chuckles as he overhears your concerns about dying here. He just kind of chuckles to himself before going back to, lavish attention on his cats.
Also, Augie, whispering doesn't seem to do too much. I'm pretty sure that our host here can read all of our minds at all time.
Well, I don't really care if he knows what I'm thinking. I just didn't want to advertise my concerns to the whole breakfast. That didn't seem like... Well, unless that's what they expect of people of my station.
Speaking of that, Augie down there is kind of my second in command, so they deserve all the same respect. First mate, no. Yeah.
Cypher looks very thoughtful, and he just kind of nods about that before going back to food. He's pretty much ignoring you guys at this point. Like, is mostly just paying attention to the various cats that are demanding attention, and mostly ignoring you guys.
They're all skeletal cats, right?
They're not all skeletal cats. Some are just undead. Some appear to be living in, like, perfect health, except for, one will be missing an eye. Or some of them have only 3 legs, and things like that. But
Ghost
there's...
cat.
Huh?
Ghost cat.
Oh, yeah, and there's also a couple ghost cats.
Is there this is something I don't think anyone else has thought to ask. Is there a smell about this place?
No, actually.
No? Okay.
No.
They all use Purell.
It's just, like, there's not really any kind of smell or anything. There's just kind of it smells like you're underground. There's no scent of rot, no decay. As you've passed fields, you'll smell growing crops. As you travel to the cities, you would smell the cities. But there's no overwhelming scent of rot or decay.
Okay.
And so as the meal goes on, the people around kind of stop paying you any attention. They kind of all seem to just ignore your presence as they get involved in their own matters. You hear more and more discussions about trading with the surface, and you hear talk about trades with the different cities, and how prices are going up, and how one price has gone up, another price has gone down, and how it's so frustrating. You've also noticed that some people are trying to get Zypher's attention, and he is ignoring them as well, entirely favoring the cats.
As you do.
As you do.
It's a cat.
And so after a while, when all of the meals are finished and the plates are taken away, you notice that the nobles kind of start to disperse on their own, and you notice that people are exiting the building, apparently having only come for this one meal. And you notice that they just kind of they'll cast glances back at you guys periodically before exiting the building, or someone will start to say something before changing their mind and walking away.
Makes me a little weary the way everyone's looking at us.
Wait, you're
What
not
you
used to
mean?
being.
Like they have alternative things in mind?
Don't. Well, I can't really say what I
Honestly, for a
wanted to
noble
say.
gathering, this place is rather civil.
I wouldn't know. My first real noble gathering was Onale's wedding. I wonder how she's doing.
I can check in on her if you like.
No, it's probably best not to. But I wouldn't stop you if you wanted to anyway.
Your crush is adorable.
If I were to say anything to Anna Leyland, is there anything you would want to say?
Oh, I don't know. Guess you could just ask her if she ever wants a break from the noble life.
How are you doing? How you feeling? Have you broke up with your husband yet?
You got it, Captain.
And how's my ship?
All right, Lachlan, are you sending that message?
Yeah, I'll type it out in chat.
Perfect. All right,
Can you
so
spell Anna Leyland again?
ONALELYN.
Lelyn.
I'm 90%
Yeah, that
sure
looks-
that's how you spell it.
That looks right.
All right, so mealtime is finished, and everything has been cleared away, and now it is you and King Zypher alone in the dining room, and he is still just sitting there, like not paying you guys much attention and just giving affection to his cats.
Rain is going to wait patiently to be addressed.
Scratch is going to wait impatiently.
Or dismissed.
Just kind of like shifting in his seat, moving around, scales scratching on the chair. Little, yeah. Just kind of make.
Scrat,
What?
you okay there?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I just. He kind of turns his head to look at Zypher for a second. Just waiting for something to happen.
Can Augie May look for one of the attendants?
Yeah, absolutely. You would see that all of the attendants are waiting at the back of the dining room by the main entrance.
I lean over to Kyrius and I say, do you flag someone down? Do you get up and go to the... How does it work?
Your guess is as good as mine.
9,
Ooh.
11,
Okay.
12, 14, 17.
I'll try to make eye contact with an attendant.
18.
You make eye contact with your attendant, and she comes. She quickly walks over, just nods her head, and yes, how can I help you?
Just a formality. Do we get dismissed? Are we waiting for something to happen?
Give me just a sec. She kind of looks at you and kind of looks over at Cypher, and she goes, "Well, I'll be honest. I don't normally know. Usually the Lord would have said something by now. He normally doesn't wait this long to say something. So I genuinely don't know."
Okay. Augie like whips their head around and they're like searching out for Tanzanite. Like
Who is
making
Tanzanite is right next to Zypher and is very uncomfortable.
Augie gives them the like, well, go for it, brows.
Tanzanite just kind of fires back. "If I die, it's your fault."
Lachlan passes
I
over
give them a thumbs up.
Lachlan passes over a flask and says, "To take the edge off."
She just kind of mutters under her breath, just something. She's just kind of muttering to herself about like if this is all actually worth it. then
We
she
had a
kinda-
deal.
So she kind of clears her throat. She kind of clears her throat and just kind of looks over at Zypher and goes, "So, Uncle, what what do what do we need to do for you to convince you to help us save my brother? Please."
Well, for starters, proof that you are one of my descendants.
Okay. Well,
Lachlan pulls out the book that they've been carrying around with the family tree of Zypher.
delightful.
And I put it on the table, opening it up to the family tree and point at Tanzanite's name.
Scratch just kind of face bombs.
For all I know, this could be faked.
It was given to us by your brother.
For who all I know is dead.
That's easily rectifiable with magic.
There's a lot of hearsay. I have not been given concrete evidence. The fact that you're here in my hall is because you proved a test of strengths, and I find that interesting.
If I may, Your Majesty, what can we do to provide you with concrete evidence?
Good question, DM.
I'm sending you a message. Hang on.
Osrup's gonna pipe up. We can run blood tests.
The what now?
What?
Blood tests to determine DNA links.
What's your
What's
DNA?
that? Is that necromancy?
It is, a rather late science. You people have not discovered it yet.
Do you have the ability to do that?
Give me the materials.
Check your messages. And yes, for those wondering at home, I am thriving off the fact that this is an awkward social interaction. This is fueling me.
Zypher's gonna pop up, going, well, my method is a little more arcane in nature, but I do have methods to determine blood relations. If you would all follow me to my lab.
Welcome's eyes light up. Literally.
Lachlan, at this point, you would have noticed that your galaxy eyes have faded. They're back to your normal eyes.
My one still glowing galaxy.
No.
How did he notice his own eyes?
I did have a shower. Maybe that was a
Yeah.
mirror.
It's a fully furnished bathroom. Of course there's a mirror.
Mirrors
Okay,
are
okay, I'm sorry.
Mirrors are expensive. You are standing in the castle of King Zypher. I think he can afford mirrors in his guest room. But yeah, so Zypher pushes back from the table with one of the cats in his arms, and he leads you down through the hallway, down deep into the underground, where it gets colder, and you can start. This is when it does start to smell. It smells very earthy, very not musty, but there's plants growing everywhere, lots of poisons everywhere, lots of like vine poisons, and the smell is damp. And as you enter a door down what appears to be the end of a cave, you step in, and Lachlan, it is out of your dreams. There are examination tables, there are plants hanging everywhere, there is more glassware than you have ever seen in your entire life. There are beakers, there are cylinders, there are tanks. There is a rather large carnivorous plant that's eyeing you guys in kind of a funny way.
Lachlan picks up one of the pieces of glassware and says, "Is this a Gestridian conical flask?"
I've literally never heard those words uttered out of a humanoid mouth before.
And Zypher would answer your question with yes, because I'm assuming the voice of Zypher does not know, but the answer is yes. And so
Kind of
Zypher
flask maintains its temperature without a heat source.
You lead them down into the back, into a much smaller lab. And this is an area that's much quieter than the front area. It's much more intimate. There's only a few items here. There's a cauldron in the middle with a few smaller plants, of just some small pieces of glassware, and this appears to be a much quieter atmosphere. And so Zypher leads you all into the back, and he takes a seat behind the cauldron and fixes Tanzanite with a stare and has her sit across from him. He doesn't say anything at this point, but he holds his hand out, pulls a dagger from what appears to be the shadows, just like Ryland would, slices his hand open, because, thematics, and drops a few drops of blood into the cauldron, which is now, when before it was empty, as his blood lands in it, is now filled with a potion that glows a soft bluish light. And it swirls with colors, all sorts of cool colors, greens, blues, and purples, a little bit of white, and it almost shimmers on the surface where the blood drops into it. He holds his hand out to her, and after a moment of hesitation, she puts her hand in his. He cuts her palm and drops the blood in. And as you all watch, the potion bubbles and froths as the blood swirls around each other before it becomes one and settles on a rich shade of royal purple, the same shade of the bathrobe that Zypher is wearing.
That's a
Zypher,
neat trick.
Zypher, to you, this is confirmation that yes, no matter how distantly related you may be, you are in fact related, and she is in fact your descendant. Indirectly, but she is your descendant.
Long relation, but she is kin.
See, we told ya.
Lachlan says, "So does the potion just turn whatever color that you're wearing, or do you match the color that you wear to some sort of significance?"
Cypher, you feel no need to answer his questions. Mostly because I don't have an answer.
Augie is slowly edging back toward the carnivorous plant.
The plant is watching you, Augie.
Do not get too close to Oscar.
I was just gonna have a conversation.
Can I see if I know what Oscar is?
Go for it.
I thought it would be rude not to acknowledge their presence.
Nature?
Yes.
Well.
You know, Oscar is carnivorous. You know he's not supposed to be as big as he is, and you know he's definitely not supposed to have eyes.
Feed me, Seymour. Feed me.
Yep. Must be fresh.
It's best when it's fresh.
Oh, that is usually. Has it been awakened?
Cypher just keeps staring at you, Lachlan, just like, I'm not gonna tell you shit, man.
Scratch
He doesn't
decides.
talk, but he understands things.
Scratch decides to try something. Standing up in his best captain pose. Has it been awakened?
Cypher gives you the same look.
Damn.
I already answered.
Okay, never mind.
Alright, so with that confirmed, Cypher leads you all back out of the lab, out through the main area, out past Seymour, out past all the poisons, back up to the surface, and
Well, Augie wanted to talk to Seymour if possible. Or Oscar.
Oscar's
Not
you
Seymour.
wanted to okay.
Yeah.
Seymour's
Well, on
different.
the way out, I'll just be like, I know he said that you don't talk, but between us nature pals, how do you like it down here?
Augie, how close are you getting to Oscar?
Not close enough to die.
Are you sure?
Hopefully.
I need a number.
Like 5 feet away.
Okay.
I died.
Roll me perception real quick.
Did you wait until everyone left the room to do this?
Just the king.
Okay.
Okay, so Augie, as you're talking to Oscar, you see tendrils creeping up around you, and like they're coming to creep up, and you see them as they're about to touch your legs.
Naughty. I am just here to say hi. I'm not here as a brunch snack favor.
Oscar just kind of a little, and just kind of wilts slightly. He's very much giving you the, it has been 87 years since I have been fed. Please take pity upon the poor soul. My master does not feed me. He's giving
I
you
look
the big
around
eyes.
for anything that says plant food.
You see a bucket that is labeled misbehaving adventurers.
Oh? I look slightly alarmed, but then I look in the bucket.
There are chunks of meat. You're not sure what kind of meat, but there's meat.
Are there tongs?
No,
No tongs.
no tongues.
Dude knows mage hand. He doesn't really need tongs.
I look and make sure, like, I know that I've been caught already, but it's like the sneaky kid thing. Like, if you're not looking at me, then you can't possibly know what I'm doing.
Absolutely. You're not paying attention to me and the dog. You don't know that I'm feeding the dog my carrots.
Right. Um, and I like edge the bucket over a little bit closer.
You edge the entire bucket.
Yeah.
I'll give Romeo a wisdom save real quick.
Oh no. Trying to be nice to the plant. We is dumb.
You hear a voice in your head. Zypher.
Do not overfeed Oscar. He will get fat.
How much can I give him? He looks like he's gonna wilt.
Just like a cat, his cries for food are lies.
But he gave me the eyes. I heard it in
Young
my
paladin, I'm
soul.
sure your willpower is stronger than that. Do not overfeed the plant.
How much is overfeeding?
See, he gets fed once every, say, 4 hours. He has been fed earlier. Anything out of schedule will make him want more.
Oscar just kind of he just kind of vocalizes and kind of gurgles at you again, Augie, and is just giving you the big just he lies. He has not fed me in so long. I am but a poor withered cactus now. Feed me, dear paladin. He's giving you those big begging eyes.
I really want to, but I also want to live.
I want to feed him, but I don't want to end up in the bucket.
Yeah, ooh. Are these people that tried to feed you before? I moved the bucket out of the way.
It's at that point. Oscar just kind of pouts in plant. You notice, like, since it's clear you're not gonna feed him, he kind of ruffles out and he's much fuller and he's much healthier looking. He's just pouting.
You dirty liar.
You do hear Zypher chuckling, by the way. And so as you make your way back out, you make your way back out, and the area is a little more brightly illuminated than it was before. Not a whole lot, but there are a couple more lanterns lit, and there are a few more people wandering around. It's very apparent like we're getting into more of the usual daytime of everything. And you see people milling about, people milling around. And a few people are trying to get Zyver's attention, but again, he kind of seems to be ignoring everyone that's not you guys directly. Does anyone have any questions for the mighty Lord of Magic?
So
Do you spend your day just brushing people off?
Not always. But my schedule is usually clear for the day. It is a weekend.
What was that, Lachlan?
So I have a question. So we've noticed that many of the inhabitants of this place seem to be resurrected in some form of another. Is that just like an extension of your will, or are you just like do you have to cast on them individually?
Do you want to give the explanation, love?
No, I've got a better one. Tanzanite leans over and elbows you, Lachlan. That's really personal. You can't ask people why they're resurrected, Lachlan. That's rude.
But if I can extend this to, say, the entire world, I can end death.
Lachlan,
Why
that's
would
bring
you
rude.
want to end death?
That wouldn't be a good idea.
Overpopulation.
That would be the greatest.
If you haven't noticed, even here in the realm of, the necromancer King Zypher, there's still death. You don't want to eradicate it. It's necessary.
Not
Also,
all the citizens stay forever.
hold up. What was that, Lachlan?
What?
What was that?
You have to be more specific.
I heard you muttering something about being the greatest necromancer ever. What was that?
Doctor of all time.
What is a necromancer but a really late doctor?
Says the one who was my assistant during the surgery.
Hey, they survived, didn't they?
It is very true. You still have a lot to learn. This world is very primitive, but I will teach you modern science.
Don't.
Yeah, like those germ things.
Please, let's not teach Mr. Lachlan anything about necromancy from here on out. I am concerned.
What did you call the thing that causes most disease? Bacteria?
I'm with Augie on this.
So, Zypher,
Yes.
would you want to tell Lachlan about the deep secret aspects of your magic?
No. He hasn't earned that right.
Lachlan is a child in a candy shop, just going so much to learn. I must learn how everything works.
Lachlan is a child in a candy shop with a very stubborn parent.
Alshram wants to know about the ancient technology, the Underdark.
So, does anybody have any questions for the mighty Lord of Magic about, your quests or anything? Or we can just gonna small talk? Because we can do small talk all day.
I can make this hallway go on forever. We can just casually walk down and have small talk.
You can make the hallway go forever?
It's a fun trap.
Lachlan starts investigating the walls.
Doggy panic.
They are normal ass walls, Lachlan. They are stone walls.
We kind of have, things that we need to do, and someone we have to save.
Which
Which
actually makes me wonder. You guys have seemed very capable. Why do you need my help?
We actually don't know exactly. We were sent here by your brother.
I mean, we were sent here by his brother because I asked him to send us here.
Well,
There's
then
still some holes, I think,
Yeah.
that we filled in.
Yes, originally we were coming here because we thought that the person responsible for Opal's possession would be here, and we thought it might be you at first. But after doing some more research and learning a few more things, we found out that theory was wrong. But that's okay. We found out that it's just Opal and is still back where we started, which is kind of counterintuitive. But that's beside the point. And we were hoping that you would have some kind of knowledge, since this guy is your apprentice person, learned from you and all that you would be able to tell us how to stop him.
If I might also add something, Captain.
Yeah.
None of us particularly know how to work the manner of souls. It is far beyond any of our expertise. And this powerful necromancer seems to understand a lot about
That's
the
true.
fragment of life.
That's true.
So, you guys are asking, just to clarify for my own sake, to make sure the right questions are getting answered. You're asking Cypher about the apprentice, you're asking how he can be defeated, and you're asking about the nature of souls, right?
And Lachlan would pipe up. We need to return a soul to a body specifically, whilst extricating another.
I
Okay.
think that Opal is still in there. We just, well, maybe.
No, Opal's in the soul gem back in the shop.
Ah, yes, you're right. You're right.
Alright.
Yeah, basically, we need to know how to evict someone so we can replace them with their, rightful
We
body
need to
owner.
file a 30-day eviction notice for a soul, and then we have to move a new one in once the old one's out. How are you with moving?
Yes, how are your services? How do you do with stairs and no elevators?
It's a 3rd story up, and we're pretty sure it does not have wheelchair access. Is this going to be a problem?
I don't think I saw one air conditioning unit in the place.
Ooh, that's terrible. That out of everything,
Yeah.
that's the most unforgivable.
The worst.
So, Cypher, you would probably be willing to answer questions about the the apprentice first, because he's an obnoxious little shithead. And you would be able to tell them that the apprentice is the kind of person that is very vain. He has an ego that does not want to he has an ego that doesn't want to be ignored. He is the kind of person that wants to be recognized for his greatness. It's probably also the reason he went after Opal or Tanzanite or any of that family once he found out that they were connected to Cypher.
He's a
This would
petulant
also-
child.
Is a child. He is, in fact, such a child. This would also be something that you would be willing to tell them, specifically because he is tarnishing your reputation. You earned that reputation as the Dark Lord, damn it. You're not going to let some usurper come in and steal the glory. And so, as far as extricating souls, that is a little bit of a different matter. That would be something that, as Cypher is talking as you're walking, and he does let you know he is leading you to the library. This would be something that, Cypher, you would be able to tell them that the matter of removing a soul is easy. Putting a soul back is much harder. That is something you have to have the soul in whatever vessel it's in. Be it a gem, be it a body, be it a phylactery, whatever. That vessel has to be able, because once a soul is removed from a body, it becomes open to any spirit or soul or wandering entity that would take it over. If you have a specific soul, you need to make sure that it is, in fact, the same soul as the one you're shoving back in. If not, then you run the risk of potentially putting 2 souls into a body and having them fight, and the weaker soul being consumed by the stronger soul. If the apprentice had to remove Opal's soul, that's a good sign, because that means Opal wasn't just giving up and wasn't just laying down and letting him take over. That means Opal's soul has the strength to go back. the necromancer was probably worried because it must have meant he was weak. If you can still catch him now while he's still weak and not in his full power, which he can't possibly be unless he has the ability to drain the life force like you did. And he would specifically have said, like I did, then and only then would he be able to be strong enough to permanently take over Opal's body. And then he would essentially become unkillable, much like Cypher. And as you've been talking, Cypher has led you to the library in his castle.
Halstrom immediately starts looking for subject.
You haven't gone in the library yet. And as you stand in front of the large, dark colored doors, Cypher pulls out a key, unlocks the library, and basically tells you guys you have free reign in the library. If things go missing, they won't be missing for long because they will disappear out of your bags and they will appear back on their shelves. Anything that leaves the castle is immediately returned to it. Most of the books that had enchantments no longer have enchantments, so there's very few enchanted books. The ones that there are cannot be comprehended currently by those who do not understand the arcane.
So you need Arcana to understand the enchanted books?
He kind of fixes you with a look and he goes, until you have bathed in magic as I have, you won't be able to read those books.
Are we talking literal bathing? Because I did just take a dip in the pool of eternity. It was fun.
You found a hallucination pool.
Hallucination pool.
Is that all it's good for?
It was a little pet project trying to see if I can bring the stars to the Underdark. Unfortunately, it ended up becoming a pool, and you know how mushrooms are.
Well, I spoke directly with my god, but he is a god of madness, so...
That might have been it then. Like getting real high to commune with your god.
Probably why this isn't working. I shake up the salad dressing one.
I'm actually
Wait,
gonna
so
say
basically you're just making me take drugs?
Everything that affects you is drugs.
What?
You see why I don't like anything he gives me?
Caffeine's a
What?
drug.
Honestly, I've been with you guys for about a week. Just a week, and I already knew to expect that.
See, and everyone told me I was crazy for not listening. Even she knows.
At least I asked if you wanted to be augmented.
Yes.
The only person I've ever drugged against that will is Scratch. That's because he doesn't take anything when I prescribe it.
It is like trying to feed a dog a pill. Got to put it.
Can you say that again, Halstrom? You cut out a little bit.
I said it is like trying to feed a dog a pill. You have to put it in cheese to trick them.
I don't like cheese.
Wait,
Spoonful of
have you
peanut
been
butter,
drugging
maybe?
our cheese?
I have not drugged anything.
I
It
am
was
not
an
eating
analogy,
cheese
Augie.
ever again.
Just me.
That is because you do not take your medication.
I don't need medication. I live underground.
Alright, I'm gonna say let's take a little bit of a break. I need to get some tea and some honey, and then we'll come back and we will discuss the library.
All right, and we are back from the break.
Alright. Welcome back, everyone. So before the break, we had left off with Cypher introducing our intrepid party to his large library. We're going to go ahead and pick up. You guys are inside the library now, and Cypher has pretty much left you to your own devices. You guys are free to look around, check out any of the books, and see what there is available. Where do we want to start?
Weren't we just told we can't read the books?
You can read all of the books except for some specific books that are enchanted, and you'll know which ones they are, because unless you have bathed in the arcane, they're incomprehensible. Most other books, 99% of the other books in the library, are perfectly readable.
I want to get my notes open here real quick. Scratch is 2 weeks. I want to look for books about spell conduit weapons.
Okay.
I'm going to ask Zypher about the cloak that I've been looking for.
I am not a
Zypher just kind of squints at you and just kind of gives you a suspicious look and just asks how the fuck you knew that was here.
I have my sources.
He just kind of keeps squinting at you, just kind of like once overing you. Scratch, as far as conduit weapon books go, Zypher gives you the same kind of suspicious look and just kind of reaches over to a shelf, reaches into the darkness, and pulls out a book and passes it over to you.
Scratch takes it, finds a table, sits under the table to read the book.
Okay.
So did Zypher leave, or is he like quietly supervising?
He's quietly supervising. You've been left to your own devices, but it's very much one of those, he doesn't trust any of you in his library alone.
That's fair, considering the group.
Yeah. And so he's just kind of like hovering without like actively stepping in to stop you from reading something.
Well, Rain doesn't have anything in particular that she wants to read, but she is going to go up to him, give a little bow. I officially offer greetings from the Demon Prince of Indulgence, Lord of Azatar. I'm sure he would be upset if I didn't offer friendship. He's a big fan.
Zypher he smirks and he just nods and he goes, well, make sure to give him my greetings in return. We may potentially have to negotiate a treaty or two between our kingdoms.
I'm certain he would love that. At the current time, I'm the only known liaison between his realm and this one, so you know where to find me.
He just kind of chuckles and goes, oh, I have my ways of finding you. And then just kind of meanders his way over, followed by a small herd of cats that are just, again, they're needy cats. They're all very needy cats. They're used to having his attention 24/7.
If Zypher isn't going to give me any extra information, I'm just going to go look for books on the Wild Hunt. Is it a flute of creation?
It is the flute of summoning the flute that summons the hunt.
And also any books I can find on Pan. I will be right back because my dog is upset.
Is it because Maddie's not home?
No, because he's a big wuss.
It's a big
That's a good. That's not surprising. All right. Was anyone else looking for anything?
Yeah, Hellstrom's gonna grab any and all books pertaining to any knowledge on technology,
There are
no
quite a
matter
few
how
books.
arcane. Huh?
There's quite a few books about technology. There's quite a few about like the rise and fall of technology. There's quite a few about different technology that exists in different realms. Zypher's influence on technology, things like that. There's a lot of books on technology.
Cool. Yeah, history, instruction manuals, blueprints, all of it.
Okay. Okay.
He'll be using his mechadendrites to also grab things carefully.
Zypher appreciates that you're being careful.
If Rain were going to read anything, it would probably be about the history of Cypher's realm, economics,
Yeah. There would be those
how
books too.
the kingdom got started, etc., etc.
Yep. You would find actually a very comprehensive book about how everything got started. You would also see there are several people currently working to rewrite the book and like all of the books about the history because they all mention Raylith, not Rylan.
Yes,
And
the
since then,
Department of Truth is hard at work.
pretty much. You notice that they're making two different copies. You notice that they're making a copy that just says Rylan, and you are also noticing that they are making copies that say Rylan parentheses former Raylith, just in case because they're not sure which one is going to be the official documentation.
Nice.
And so yeah, if you're looking for those kinds of books, you would see the people that are working on them would be happy to let you read them as they're working on them, and you would learn a lot about the history and why everything is the way it is.
Excellent. That's what I was going for.
Very good, very good. Yurei, is there anything you're looking for?
Um,
Besides how not to panic when I am in the one place I have literally been told if I go, I will die.
Out of sheer curiosity, Yurei's gonna look for like information on like, well, Ryland's agency, and yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That the sneaky stuff. I lost the words.
I know what you're getting at. You would find some very old books about the establishment of it, but you wouldn't find anything that really is very modern.
Old books work, even if they're
You would-
undercommon.
Yeah, you would find books, and a lot of the books are in kind of the same ancient undercommon. Most of them have notes with translations off to the side. You would notice that they're mostly about the founding of Ryland's agency and the information network. And you would notice that there's some strange connections to the foundings of Tethea, too.
Oh, now that I am interested in.
All right, so we will start scratch.
Yes.
You would find a book about the use of the energy weapons, and you would find one actually about the blueprints of the cannon that you found, and the original use for it, and the original early prototypes and how they were essentially deemed a failure of a project simply because it would be there would be no point to have a super weapon like this. Something on such a mass scale would just it would cause mass chaos, mass panic, and mass destruction in the world. So there doesn't really seem to be a point. You do see that there are notations. If a smaller version could be made, it would have potential, like it would have mass military potential.
Okay. So what I already knew was it's less science, more magic. It noted different colored crystals being used. Needs more soul shards. Testing on a human, it failed. Testing on an elf, there was a success but terminal failure. Uh, Need to try on other creatures, possibly small animals. Also, a dwarf was a partial success, but with an explosive result. I have a full list of the materials, some of which I like. This particular metal, I don't know what it is, and yes, so
Yeah.
that's what I knew originally.
Yeah,
Out of
and you
character. Has Scratch been experimenting on people?
No, not yet.
not that you're aware of.
Okay.
So you would find Scratch a lot of the same documents. You would find a lot more detailed. You would find a lot more detailed descriptions of the tests and the specific, especially the dwarven test, the explosive failure, and how more people died, and how just nothing they seem to do works, except for the use of smaller animal souls. But of course, they haven't been able to get any willing test subjects
Okay.
to have their souls ripped out and used as a battery.
So when I figure this stuff out, I go back to Zypher and I point to the soul shards in the book and the metal, and I ask, "Is there any place I can get these?"
And he looks at the two, and he just sighs very heavily. And he fully admits to you, Scratch, in just kind of an almost reluctant or resentful manner, that even he has yet to figure out what the metal is. And the soul shards, sure, he probably has some laying around. He's not going to put any use to. He doesn't even remember what's in them anymore. But any metal he has found has not worked for that device. He has yet to find something that truly can make it work.
Do I have a name of the metal? Or like a formula or like a description of it, anything of that nature?
He says he can give you a list of the things that he's tried that haven't worked, but the only other metal that he could think of, he found a fragment of a long time ago. And he kind of amends, well, long for you probably isn't long for me. When another group of people very similar to your tall mechanical friend appeared in the world, and they had a chunk of this material that he had been able to gather, and that seemed to have a reaction with it that seemed to work, but he's never been able to find any more of the metal, and he's been calling it soul metal, but has never been able to find any more. And he doesn't know if it's from the mechanical men, he doesn't know if it's a naturally occurring thing, or if it's something they created. And he doesn't like not knowing.
Well, if you get me those soul shards and I figure out what the metal is, I will tell you, and then we both have the information. And then he will turn around and go scamper off to where Halstrom is. Halstrom, I need some of your spare parts.
Cypher's just kind of looking at you in just the sheer confusion. Like, okay, if you're willing to do the thing, then so am I.
Yep,
Before,
he's alright.
like as you go scamper off, he doesn't have the chance to respond. Let's see. So that'll be one. Lachlan, what were you looking for?
Any information on the wild hunt, the flute that summons the hunt, or Pan himself?
Okay, so you have discovered that the hunt is an apocalyptic threat, but it has been thwarted before. You learned that the flute has been used, and it has been used twice. The first time was a nearly world-ending event where the only reason the world didn't end is because people managed to bunker and survive. The second event, they were actually able to stop the hunt, and it was after that the flute disappeared. There have been reports of the hunt existing, or the flute existing to the far, far north in the territory of Glacius Wintercloak. But there have also been reports of the flute in the far south. There have been reports of the flute in the Seven Kingdoms. The flute has been reported in many different areas, so you're not entirely sure what can be believed.
So the second time when it was thwarted, would I recognize that as the death of the druid circle that I once belonged to?
Yes. Because whatever happened to them was so overwhelming that they all died instantly. It was as if their life and their magic had been siphoned away.
Okay.
The
Is
information.
life,
Hang on, you got one more thing that you found.
Oh yeah.
You have also found some information about Pan that it's kind of contradictory to what you know already, because it seems like every time somebody has an encounter with Pan, it seems like there's something different happening.
That makes sense.
One person will report Pan is benevolent, a life giver, giving them all of these wonderful gifts, while another person will report that Pan is malevolent and burn their fields. One person will say that Pan will come in one form, while another person will say that Pan comes in another form. The only thing that you have noticed is consistent between all accounts when talking or interacting with Pan is the sound of flutes and waking up with a wicked hangover.
Have I just woken up with a hangover every day since the village?
Yeah, you stopped noticing it.
Okay. I say to I go up to Zypher and say, Your Majesty.
Yes.
Do you have any further information on how one might be able to stop the hunt from ravaging our world without sacrificing 250-ish magic users?
And he kind of looks thoughtful for a second. And he kind of tilts his head and he just kind of goes, well, I would say part of it is lacking the skills to successfully thwart the hunt. But otherwise, I would say most likely it's lack of a proper vessel to contain it. The hunt, when unleashed on our world, presents a unique problem. And to contain a threat like it, you would need sheer magical power, magical force, or you'd have to kill the heart of the hunt.
The heart.
Usually there's some kind of connection, some kind of vessel for the hunt that summons it, and if you kill that, usually the hunt, well, I'd say dissipates, but that's not quite the correct word. Usually it ends.
Would that be like a mortal tethered to a god with the god holding back the hunt?
Well, yes, that would be one way to do it, but I can't imagine anyone would be stupid enough to try to bind a god to the hunt. That would potentially give the hunt access to all of the god's magic and power.
Wonderful. So how would one, if one were to find a suitable vessel and then unleash the hunt, how would one be able to contain the hunt in that vessel?
Well, that depends on if the vessel is willing or not. If the vessel is willing, then it would be fairly simple as to give the hunt what it wants, which would be either death, destruction, madness, mayhem, or some kind of control, some kind of power. If the vessel is unwilling, then usually you would have to a similar process to binding a soul to an unwilling vessel. You'd have to override it and override the power of it. But again, generally people don't opt to do that. Usually they just prefer killing the vessel of the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
That's the easiest way to take care of it.
And approximately how strong would a vessel need to be to be able to withstand containing the hunt?
One vessel containing the entire hunt. Or are you talking about reestablishing your druid circle?
Oh, there's no way I can do that. That would require multiple wishes.
Well, I suppose the power to contain the hunt in a single host were to acquire immense power, potentially power along my levels of when I was younger. Potentially, you'd need supreme control of magic. You would need the ability to withstand the hunt. You would need the ability to withstand its influences to wreak havoc and destruction. Again, most people just opt to kill the vessel. You
Well, okay, so currently, the only thing preventing the hunt from unleashing untold havoc onto the world is a god of madness who is uh, not particularly happy with me right now.
Zypher just looks at you and is giving you the look of you dumb motherfucker.
I was busy.
You bound the hunt to Pan.
I didn't have anything else to bind it to. And the protections were failing.
Did you ever think to realign the protections and reroute them through a different way, so to have a double failure instead?
Well, that would have been a really good idea.
Battery 60%. Connected to SQ, ESQ.
Somebody's battery's low.
Yeah.
Zypher is hardcore judging you at the moment, Lachlan. All right. I suppose if you're looking to unbind the hunt to Pan, which good luck with that, by the way. Let me know if that works out. You would need to get a more appealing vessel. You would need to give it something that it could use to gain more power or something to gain more influence over the world.
I have a terrible idea.
I am not becoming the vessel of the hunt.
Not you. Someone who is, by his own admission, good, very powerful, and has great influence.
Please let me know if you can talk my brother into it. I would love to watch that.
Not your brother.
Oh, good. I don't think even you could pull that off.
No, no, I couldn't. When I told your brother, I was almost knocked unconscious.
Oh. Honestly, the only reason I haven't forcibly ejected you from my castle is because I find you fascinating.
Fascinating?
Mm-hmm. Your little crusade intrigues me.
Are you talking about the party or?
He just kind of smirks at you without saying anything.
Okay.
But yes, enlighten me about your other terrible idea.
Absolutely terrible. I. The Emperor.
Zypher looks at you for a second and then just starts laughing.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the response.
Is that obnoxious little shit still running around playing Emperor? That's so cute.
Yudo's just going to ignore the stuff he's hearing.
From both of us. From both of us.
I think
I
mostly
do.
Zypher insulting the Emperor.
Well, thanks. It's been insulting.
Oh, that's not even me trying to insult you. If that's insulting, this is merely me stating fact. If that's insulting to you, I shudder to think what would happen if we actually got into a debate.
Well, I very rarely attempt to debate on topics I know nothing about, and this is one of them, unfortunately.
Do you have any other questions before I leave you to your deranged ramblings in my library?
Doobadoo.
I don't think so. Is there anything you think I should know about this particular problem?
Don't die anytime soon, dear doctor.
I wasn't planning on it. I've already been warned about it.
Don't go diving into places you shouldn't be diving either.
You saw that?
I see many things. I know many more things, and I've seen more of your adventure than I think any of you realize.
There is one mystery that we've been trying to work out.
Anything I can potentially answer for you?
Scratch? Captain.
Scratch had gone off to Scratch had gone off to harass Halstrom.
Kind of pokes his head out from behind a corner of a, I don't know, stack of books somewhere.
Zypher the thing about the person who brought us together?
Negative.
Okay. Captain says no.
Nothing else that you want to know? All right.
Well, I mean, I haven't asked yet.
I said should we, not did we.
Oh, sorry, a little distracted by metallurgy stuff. Hellstrom has that effect. Yeah, Scratch reaches into his backpack and pulls out the book that has the name written on it that none of us can read.
I also pull out my note.
Okay.
Since I didn't get a note.
Yeah, they just showed up at your house.
Yep, that's how it worked. So this person matches. Yes. Who is this?
And he looks at the two and he just kind of furrows a brow and cocks an eyebrow. And he goes, it's, and then he says the name and it is completely garbled in your head.
We cannot hear, read, or understand the name when it is written, spoken, or telepathically communicated.
Interesting. Very interesting. And he kind of just gets not a little smirk on his face and just kind of, I'll have to get back to you on this one. I have a test to run, but that's very interesting. It makes me wonder some things.
Uh-huh. Okay, carry on. I'm gonna see what parts I can pull off a Haustrom.
Lachlan says, "Wait, do you need
Huh?
forceps?"
No, I got this. And he holds up his universal tool.
If you do try to get something, be aware there will be an either a plasma cutter to the face or a drill to the face.
That wasn't Haustrom's voice, so I have no idea what you're saying.
He is reading, so
That's why you know how sneaky Scratch is.
Well, that's why we're gonna circle back to that interaction, because I've got some fun things going on with that one. Okay, Rain, you were looking at the history, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have been reading about the early days of the Empire, the early days of the kingdoms, and you learned that Zypher and Raylith slash Rylan slash Rylan parentheses formerly Raylith, depending on which book you're reading. You would have learned that they were originally very in sync with each other. They were planning to make specifically the Underdark much more habitable. They were looking to unite the Underdark under one banner, and they were looking to unite the Underdark in ways that would bring people together instead of having all of these warring factions. Like, yes, there would always be civil disputes, but instead of having so many banners, they would be united as one. That they would be able to bring unity and help the Underdark flourish entirely. And they did, and they successfully did. And then it was, why don't we take this to the surface? Why don't we show the surface dwellers that we are a united nation? That instead of just being this horrible, terrible, awful, murderous, thieving band, we show them who we truly are. And you learn that according to these history books, which is different than the history books you've read before, the surface struck first. And the history books you have read, the Underdark struck first. This is showing that the surface struck first. The first emissary party bearing peace was mercilessly cut down, and their bodies were sent back to the Underdark with a note stating, "We will never accept peace from your kind." And that is when it became, well, fine. If they won't accept us, they will accept us by force. And then the plan became to take the surface world and unite them forcefully so they would understand that the great powers of Zypher and Rylan were not to be trifled with. And then it goes on to continue to talk about the wars that had happened and the constant fighting and the constant battles that happened and all of these things. And these are more of the things that you had read before. These are more of the standards kind of stuff that you would have read in your history books, how long the battles went on. But now you would have learned that, and you would have started to learn a little bit more about the apprentice, and he got mentioned a few times, that he was Zypher's essentially equivalent to having children. Zypher never had children of his own. You learned more about the genealogical history of Raylith slash Rylan slash Rylan parentheses formerly Raylith. And you would have learned that the apprentice was so concerned and so worried for his master and how he could have potentially been swayed and taken over by the queen, and that's how the civil war started between Rylan and Zypher. And then more of everything else that you know. The book history books go on to talk about the battle of the heroes that supposedly slayed Zypher and how he disappeared, and how now the kingdom is back and is prospering more. You would have learned a little bit of the history of the botanist who had magically grown the trees in the kingdom before Zypher's return, the red trees that supposedly could bind lovers together in a bond of true love.
That's cute.
Typically, for people in this area, teapots and small cups are given as signs of courting and affection tokens. For people to share a teapot is seen as a declaration of intent to court.
Cute.
And then pretty much everything else outside of the knowledge that, oh wow, hey, it looks like this kingdom is still alive and flourishing. Everything else is pretty much the same standard history you would have read up until now. Everything else is pretty accurate, pretty updated. Occasionally there's
Okay.
mentions of sightings of Zypher, but all of them proved to be false.
The other thing I would do is I would go looking for those magic books that we're not supposed to be able to read, because
Okay.
I would want to see if my warlock skill would work on them.
Okay.
I don't actually care about what's in them.
You just want to see if you can.
Yeah, and I want to see if I make Zypher nervous.
All right. So the books are pretty easy to find. It's very much your classic restricted section in a library. There are signs, no, don't pass here, like no passing, pass required, do not enter. You're pretty standard stuff. You're pretty standard fare.
Mm-hmm.
And you can feel the power in your blood is very, very interesting, because as you pick up one of the books, and it hums with magic, you're not able to read it entirely. You can pick up some words, but you can't read all of it.
Okay, good enough for me.
And yes, you do make Zypher nervous when he realizes that someone else can read these books, because they're not supposed to be able to do that.
Well, it
All
does
right.
say read any writing.
Yeah. A lot of it, for what you can read, is just so warped with magic. Even with the eyes of the runekeeper, it's so hard to comprehend. You can read every single word. It is just so much information. It's so hard to decipher.
Oh yeah, I don't actually really care about what they say. I was just looking for like, this chapter heading says
Yeah.
this.
Those yeah, you're pretty much easily able to read the chapter headings and like the numbers and things like that, and even some of the very short little blurbs, but that's about it. And yes, Zypher is very unsettled.
It's hard. It's hard to decipher.
Oh god.
Doomy just took my joke and said it louder.
You're both terrible. It is a terrible joke from both of you. You both get to go to detention for that one.
I'm actually
How a
really
word kills.
curious. If I tried to read it, would it just look like it's redacted in the same way that the benefactor's name is?
No. If you tried to read it, it would just look like. So the benefactor's note, you know that there's letters there. You you know they're there. They definitely exist. You just can't put them in the right order. With this, it's not even that. It looks like It looks like how gibbering madness sounds.
I'm placing it here as a joke.
Too dangerous to be left alive.
Yeah, that's what it is. You're too dangerous to be left alive. That's what we'll call it.
I assume Power Word Kill would be directed at the Tiefling.
No.
Why? Oh, right, the puns.
Puns. It would be directed at the two of you because of your puns.
See, I was being logical.
You're applying this to a man who has lived for so long. He went insane and then got bored of insanity.
Ready to connect.
Well, Siri, we're glad you're finally back with us.
It's not Siri, it's a Bose speaker that it's gonna keep saying ready to connect.
Well, as long as she's ready.
Battery 60%.
Apparently she's gonna talk about her battery too.
She wants to connect with someone using some kind of battery-powered machine. Oh my.
Oh my.
I mean, they make those for Bluetooth.
They make some fun ones.
Lachlan's gonna... Oh, we don't have an Augie anymore. Oh no.
Nope.
Oh no.
Yurek,
Yes.
was there anything specific you were looking for?
Because I'm pretty sure like all of like Ryland's stuff he kept to himself instead of in this library.
Besides, the Ryland stuff. Yeah, anything else? You find the really early stuff, and that's about it, and some like hypothetical theoretical texts. Halstrom, on the other hand, let's see what he finds.
Amongst all the various books he's reading, what does he find?
You're looking at technology.
Any and all.
So yeah, you would find mostly books about the rise and fall of various technical ages. You would find, if you're looking specifically at books, you would find several about Zypher's influence on technology and his contributions to technology. You would find different evolutions and adaptations of technology. Roll me a perception check. Scratch, give me a sleight of hand.
I'm using my tools for this, so I'm going to check that appropriately.
Okay.
Would it be advantage to a piece of him? Matter.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Normally I'd say yes, but...
Would Halstrom feel it, though, once it's been removed?
You have that.
Yes. Yes. So you would feel, as Scratch is removing a piece, you would feel something on one of your mechadendrites.
And Scratch, then it would... mechadendrite. Roll a... Hold on, 1, 2... Roll a d4.
What's a mechadendrite?
His tentacles.
Oh.
His extra limbs.
Oh, I wouldn't have been going for that. I would have been looking for like a plate or something, but you know, just a flat piece of metal. No, I don't need a big piece, just something to test with.
Well, that's the thing with Halstrom, is a lot of the metal like that is covered by his cloak and his clothes. So most of the metal you would have access to would be the mechadendrites.
Yeah, but I'm good at pickpocketing.
You're just gonna swipe a whole mechadendrite?
No, I could slip into clothes easily. My tiny little hands. I mean, I slip into people's pockets, you know? But whatever God decides.
Okay, so you're what? 4 feet tall?
4 feet?
I don't know.
I am 2 foot 10. Yes, 2
okay,
foot
you're
10.
3 feet tall. Close enough. Halstrom, how tall are you?
Alstrom is bio 6'10" at the moment.
See,
Okay.
unless his tentacles are attached to the back of his thigh, I don't think I could reach him.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, you would be going more for a leg. Okay. Yeah. So, Hellstrom, you feel like something on the back of your leg, kind of about like mid thigh.
Well, if it's a parasite, I want to get it off.
Well, Scratch, what are you doing?
I'm slowly taking a small piece off, very carefully, and under the guise of tightening something that looked loose.
Not knowing it's you.
Yeah, not knowing it's me.
Why is there a -5 there? Oh, sharpshooter was active, so it'd be 17.
Does a 17 hit your AC, Scratch?
It does.
Wait, are you under the cloak?
Probably not.
Oh, because it's a plasma cutter.
I was gonna say part of the
So yeah, Scratch, you take 15 points of fire damage as this mechadendrite swings at you.
A quick
And-
burst of intense heat.
Okay. And the little cry out, yeah.
Yeah, you're a little singed.
I'm actually going to use my fire resistance for that, so.
Okay. Okay.
Am I within 30 feet of them?
Not at this point. You haven't had your conversation with Zypher yet.
But the question is, with a 35 sleight of hand, do I get the piece off?
Oh, you absolutely get the piece off.
Okay. Easy, Hellstrom. You had a little piece flopping around. I was tightening it up.
I do daily maintenance on myself.
Well, you missed a piece.
Impossible.
Look. And I point. I like poke the part where I took a piece. Look, you've already lost a piece here. This piece next to it was loose. I'll just try to keep you from losing something else.
I'm gonna roll insight.
Yeah. Roll me an insight. Scratch, give me a deception.
I'm not too bad. Well, not the 20, not the 4, just the 22.
Yeah. Hellstrom, you believe him, but you are suspicious.
I will have to check my data logs. It is unusual for York to make errors like this.
Well, I mean, it is kind of dark down here, and not everybody's been feeling 100%.
Is York still with you?
No.
I thought he went back to the ship.
I said Hellstrom does like maintenance regularly, but like usually last time he did it was when York was there for assistance.
Yeah.
We did have that big fight yesterday. Maybe something happened then.
I took no damage.
That you know of. Obviously, something fell off.
All right. So, yes, Lachlan, about this point, you would call out to Scratch.
Scratch.
Ah, excuse me, Hellstrom. I'll go. Don't worry. If I see anything loose, I won't try to fix it, because you're so sensitive about it all. But I'll talk to you later.
Cue previous conversation.
Which previous conversation?
The one where we ask Zypher about the thing with the benefactor, right?
Ah, yes.
If my timeline is correct.
What is time?
Just tuck the little piece into my pocket.
Okay.
For
Oh yeah,
testing
you
later.
come over. You discuss with Lachlan about Scratch's the benefactor's name, And Zypher just has this look on his face, like he knows something. He's absolutely not telling you, but he definitely knows something.
You know, this must be really infuriating to other people.
Why would I care what other people think?
Oh, I didn't say you did. But you know, we're trying to... Sorry, I hit the mic.
Jeez, just Scratch is enraged.
But,
Table flips.
you know, we are trying to protect, well, you know, in a way, your reputation, because this guy's out there acting like he's you.
Correct. I don't particularly understand why you knowing this name is all that important, however.
Because if it wasn't for this person with this name, we wouldn't be on the quest that we're cursed. Starts talking draconic offhandedly. Excuse me.
Translates.
We wouldn't be on this quest that we are currently on.
Well, then it sounds like whoever this person is, you most likely owe them a thank you.
Yes, and we'd like to know who they are so we can thank them properly.
Yes, I have a letter here. I need to know who to address it to.
I will make sure that this person receives proper thanks and acknowledgement on your behalf. You need not worry.
Colonel Max Acid Breath.
Oh, speaking of Colonel Mac, I think this one may actually let you speak with him.
What?
Milk on hands are vile.
Oh no.
It is experimental. I don't expect you to take it. But,
Is this what you and Augie were talking about earlier?
Yes, it's version 2, guaranteed not to cause you to throw up.
He kind of puts it into his pocket. I'm taking this.
Is that the salad dressing one or the other one?
I'm gonna roll. I don't know.
I'm confiscating this. For crew safety.
Scratch, if you're gonna take it, I do request you have Augie or I present.
I wonder who.
I don't care if it's Augie, it's salad dressing.
You got... So, Scratch, the vial that you have, it appears to be two separate liquids, one thicker than the other, and it will occasionally, a bubble of one will kind of blurp up into the other one before settling back down.
It needs to be emulsified before drinking.
Why would I turn it to stone?
Emulsified, combined.
Oh. Why didn't you just say that?
Because that's not the correct term, it's just a translation. And a bad one at that.
I just look at Lachlan for a moment and just start speaking Undercommon in the most filthiest curses that I can think of with a big smile on my face.
I can't cast anything without you knowing that I'm casting a spell.
You're right.
Yurei chuckles.
So does Zypher.
If those two are laughing, I know you're insulting me, and that's your prerogative.
I just told a joke. Why would it have to be an insult?
You don't joke, Captain.
I've been very happy today.
Zypher just kind of clears his throat and just, oh yes, it was a very, very funny joke. Scratch, you'll have to tell me it again later.
I'll write it down.
Very, very good. I need to remember that for my next noble court hearing.
Yurei?
Yes?
Usually I'd talk to the captain about issues like this, but he's being mean to me.
What's different than any other day?
Do we need to get? Do we
Usually
need to
you
talk to the
insult
HR
me in a language I understand.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yudo's
Yeah.
gonna get up and hand you the beginner's guide to Undercommon.
It's not a problem if I have 6 seconds and I'm not standing in front of the person insulting me.
Think of it as a beginner's lesson.
That's literally what it is.
I take the book and I say, so, and I start speaking in Sylvan. Zypher gave me some more information about the wild hunt, and I have concerns.
Oh?
We need an exceptionally strong vessel or multiple weaker vessels to be able to contain the hunt if it gets out. And the other day when I communed with Pan, he said that a particular magical item that hasn't been seen in a few thousand years is around, and it can summon the hunt.
To find where that flute is and destroy it?
I'm not
It's
sure we can
eliminated.
destroy the flute, but even so, if we leave this problem too long, we will end up with a hunt with all of the powers of the god that it's bound to.
Zypher
Okay,
pipes in at this. Zypher pipes in at this point, also speaking in Sylvan, which just conveniently happens to be Pan.
That's not good for anyone's general sanity.
I'm feeling more lucid than I have in a few days, at least.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know.
Anyways, what did you want to talk to me about aside from telling me about impending doom upon the land?
Well, I had an extremely terrible idea.
I am afraid, but lay it on me.
So, Zypher said that a vessel for the hunt, if it were a single person, would have to be a being with a lot of power, and also one that would be able to resist the want to wreak havoc and do harm. The thought that came to mind is that a very powerful ancient silver dragon could quite possibly be a vessel like that. And I was wondering if you would concur.
That does sound like a horrible idea, you're right.
Yeah, I thought so.
So we don't know how corrupting that influence is. I have faith in the Emperor, but even he still needs guidance from my master.
Well, the other thing we can do is put it into a temporary host and then kill the host, and the hunt will dissipate, sort of.
Weaken its influence, you mean?
How would you describe it, Your Majesty? Dissipate or weaken? Or banish?
Well, banish would most likely be the most apt description anyway, at least temporarily. Once the hunt sufficiently, the hunt is not the hunt, much like myself, and he just kind of like smugly, like dusts off his bathrobe a little bit. Much like myself, the hunt cannot truly be killed. It is an all-consuming, all-powerful force. The most you could hope to do by killing its vessel, he kind of pointedly looks at you, Lachlan.
I'm still not sure if I'm the hunt's vessel or just a tether.
And he just kind of pointedly looks like, you are the conduit to which the hunt is currently being contained. If you die, it gets unleashed. Pan is currently the hunt's vessel.
And
So
we
you're a
can't kill a
seal.
god. Well, you might be able to, but...
May I, out of character, offer the term the hunt is dissolved?
Oh, that's a good one.
What if we gave it a vessel that was extremely resilient, but entirely absent of mind?
Golem?
If you give the hunt a vessel that is resilient but absent of mind, you give the hunt a vessel that has no will of its own to be overridden. You give the hunt a body with no mind, and the hunt gains the power of the body with no resistance from the mind.
Right.
What about an automata? Automata technically have mind.
But would it be able to resist the power of the hunt?
What if we put someone really powerful
Depends
on a throne of sorts, and completely disable their ability to move, and then feed magic users to this throne in ritual sacrifice to keep the hunt perpetually at bay?
This sounds a little familiar.
Rain doesn't speak Sylvan, but she suddenly looks over at you as a shiver runs down her spine. That's horrifying.
A golden skull face flashes in Lachlan's eyes and he flinches again. Ah!
And you just hear that same mechanical voice in your head. Don't think about it, kid.
Why do I have so many voices in my head?
You should
Most likely-
see an actual doctor.
I am an actual doctor.
A licensed doctor.
I was licensed at one point.
It's just been
A
revoked.
currently licensed doctor.
I do have another question for you, Your Majesty, and I'm speaking in common once more.
Yes.
So, Pan was bound about 2 weeks ago. How much time would you say we most likely had before the hunt has access to all of Pan's abilities?
If we're lucky, several hundred years, knowing what I know of Pan. If we're unlucky, the hunt will be able to persuade Pan into combining with it to wreak madness and chaos and havoc across the land entirely unbound. In which case, days, hours, minutes.
There would be a slightly excited flurry of pan flutes and a flash of madness across Lachlan's face.
You seem rather excited about this prospect, dear doctor.
One part of me is. More people to heal. More madness to spread. I mean, what? No.
He's gonna kind of lean over to Yude and kind of like inadvertently get uncomfortably close. I'd watch this one if I were you, young Kitsune.
Yude's gonna respond in Undercommon. I don't plan on letting my eyes off of him. Nor my agents.
Lachlan's flipping through the book, trying to figure out what they said.
The best you can figure out is a very rough translation of I don't plan I plan to keep my eyes alert and I have agency with them.
Of course you have agency with me. I never force any medication on people who
I don't force
be
my
taking it.
I don't force medication on people that actually take their vitamins. Yes, but speaking of people who don't take their vitamins, Scratch, you said you were looking for rain in Tanzanite.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You would have found Tanzanite just kind of off in a quiet corner, like very, very pointedly not acknowledging the drow uncle in the room.
Grunkle. Grunkle Cipher.
Are they both
You even
together?
have an extra-dimensional threat.
No, Tanzanite would have gone off on her own just to kind of get some space and just kind of process everything. She would have just been in a chair, probably by a window, just kind of watching everything and just kind of coming to terms with this really weird sense of belonging that she's feeling because she's finally in an area where somebody's not inherently judging her for just being who she is. Like, yeah, sure, her family has lived on the surface for as long as they can remember, but that doesn't stop people from having these prejudices against drow.
Okay.
And she's just kind of very quiet, really just kind of thoughtful, very introspective. And yeah, no, she's not with Rain. Rain is off in the restricted section, having a wonderful time making Cypher very uncomfortable.
So, how's the bait thing working out for you? Oh, go ahead.
I just want to demonstrate my worth as a potential ally, you know.
Uh-huh.
Cypher's just kind of like, where are they finding these people?
Brutus, you can just hear soft whimpering off in one of the corridors as he's looking at a cookbook, unable to reach it.
A cookbook or a flip book?
A cookbook. He wants to learn how to make dog food.
Cypher just kind of sighs and uses his version of Mage Hand to just carefully put the book in front of Brutus. And the book is now very conveniently and easily doggy page flippable.
It's just gonna be a tail wagging and like paws on the ground, just nose flipping the page.
But yes, Rain is demonstrating her worth as a valuable asset to the party, and Tanzite is just kind of off to the side, just kind of ignoring everyone without ignoring everyone.
Gotcha.
She's half listening to everybody's conversations without really listening to anyone's conversations.
Tanzanite conversation can be had later. But finding Rain eventually. So just kind of clears his throat really loud from behind her.
Yes.
You haven't lit any of us on fire yet. That's a good thing.
Were you expecting me to?
Well, you know, after the display and the, yes.
Any particular reason?
I mean, you've been with this group for the last couple days. What do you think?
Well, I think that almost all of you are insane in some way or another, in varying degrees. But so am I, so that works fine for me.
Well, good. Good. Remember, some of us are more flammable and combustible than others.
Oh, trust me, if I didn't have control over my magic, then I would have burned Tethea down rather than just exposing my family.
Well, I worry, because, I mean, I've seen some sorcerers that whenever they cast a spell, it sometimes goes awry and weird things happen, and, like, I saw somebody grow a beard of rainbow hair once, and another time there was bubbles everywhere after someone casted a simple firebolt, but, you know, it just I'm cautious.
Do you think that I'm a sorcerer?
Well, I mean, you could be, and I don't really pry into that sort of thing, but, you know, it's just, I always kind of keep those thoughts in the back of my mind.
Oh no, no, honey. I'm a warlock. Completely different basket of monkeys.
Oh, that's even more unpredictable.
Only if you don't know who my patron is.
Uh-huh. And who might that be?
I don't think I said.
My point stands.
Very helpful.
Well, on the bright side, the note that I got from Mr. Mysterio only said that it would be beneficial of me to be there for the coronation. I stuck around with you guys just because I liked you. You were fun. I did what I needed to do, and that was it.
Well, I appreciate you watching after Tanzanite. She wouldn't have came if it wasn't for me anyway, but it's good to have somebody that could keep an eye on her, especially with that stick of yours.
It's a broom.
It's a big stick.
Sure. I don't know. I guess that I recognize in her someone that I used to be. Someone
Yeah.
who used to need protection.
Oh, I was gonna ask if your name used to be Tanzanite.
No, but you know what? This conversation of ours has actually given me a good idea about
Oh.
protection.
What's that?
Well, if the Dark King Zypher knows so much about souls, maybe he could put some protection on hers that overrides whatever blood bond she and her brother have.
But the blood bond is kind of, well, there could be positives and negatives to that. I kind of like the fact that we get a little bit of a peek into what's going on the other side, but at the same time, that probably means he could see what we're doing. Probably knows we're here already.
This may be one of the places that he can't see into.
That's possible. We could also use that to our advantage. I mean, if he doesn't know that we know that he knows what we're doing, then we can use that fact to make a plan that he won't know that we know the plan and that he thinks he knows the plan. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Work around the plan around their plan.
And if he can't see in here, and she gets some protection put on her that keeps him from continuing to see, then we can move around without him seeing us.
Makes sense.
I'm glad it did to you. It got a little bit wrapped up in my head there.
Your brilliance knows no bounds, Major.
Before I go back to check on the others, that patron of yours, it's not someone who could magically whisk us halfway up on, well, firstly we have to go up, and then they couldn't get us back to town, could they? Or back to the ship, like in a snap of a finger? maybe?
No, I don't think that's in his wheelhouse, sorry.
Alright. Okay. Good talk. And welcome to the crew. And he walks away.
Welcome, welcome. Enjoy your stay, son of a bitch. And I was supposed to go.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to be
Hey,
friends.
you guys got voluntary confirmation that I am a warlock, so.
Yes.
Well, one of us did. The rest of us still don't.
And Scratch has a bad habit of not telling things until it's pertinent.
Scratch has a very
I'm
bad
fine with
habit of keeping some very particular information to himself.
Scratch has bushes.
I'm fine with that. That suits me just peachy.
What they don't know can't hurt them.
Yeah, I can.
Let's just say what they don't know always helps me.
I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, Scratch would go back to the group. Just kind of keeping an eye on the direction of Tanzanite for the time being. Just to make sure she doesn't try to sneak off. Actually, he would probably park Spark in her general vicinity just so he could keep an eye.
Right. She's just kind of off in her own world from what you can tell. She's not really paying attention. Like, she is paying attention to what you guys are talking about, but also not really.
Okay.
Alright. And let's see. Was there anything else you guys wanted to do in the library?
Can I bludgeon someone with the candlestick?
I mean, you can, but it's probably not going to end well.
I'm actually trying to decide what would Augie do. Like, what questions did Augie want to ask?
Immediately after my conversation with, I would like to go and ask Zypher about potentially making a protection thing for Tanzanite, and B, a
I'm sorry,
spell
what?
that replicates Tanzanite's. I'm trying to think of the word. It's like make a fake copy of like Tanzanite's
aura.
We'd need Philo for that.
Safe. Ha 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 ha.
I'm funny.
You're hilarious.
So you come over to him, and he's just been kind of watching you guys, and you ask him about this whole protection, and he thinks for a second, and he kind of seems to pull, and he pulls a strange item out of the darkness, and he just kind of, he proffers it to you, and he goes, well, the most I could probably do would be I could put her soul into a vessel like this, which would stop my apprentice from being able to detect her. It's not healthy in the long term, but it can be done. As far as any kind of duplication or replication, I suppose I can try to throw something together. I can't make many promises as far as success, usually because I don't typically create, I destroy, but I can give it a shot.
It doesn't need to be exact. You just need to have to squint at it to be able to tell the difference.
He kind of gives you a funny look. I'll see what I can do.
We don't want to put her into any, but
Yeah, no, that's probably not going to work.
No,
But if we can make it look like there's multiple of her, then it'll be harder for them to target her.
true.
And if we have these things and we give them to, say, merchants to pass on through their sales, and we spread them all over the realm, then it's going to be like looking for a needle in a pile of needles.
Lachlan just pipes up and says, "Why don't you just make an anti-scrying zone?" I mean,
because that doesn't stop what I assume you're getting at is my idiot of an apprentice has most likely a bounty on her head.
That's what it seemed like, yeah. Most likely attached to her essence, which is how they keep finding us.
More than likely. Well, I will see what I can cobble together. I could most likely throw together some kind of duplicate or a simulacrum of some kind. Could theoretically be conjured or created. It would replicate her look, her sound, everything about her, and can be destroyed instantly into a pile of snow and ice.
this guy just conjure up a simulacrum?
I
As
mean,
you say that, Cypher snaps his finger, and he creates a copy of each of you.
Can I keep this?
Yours to have. It's a mindless, soulless dummy, although I'm not sure that would be much different.
that's not. Ha ha.
Ouch.
Ha
You
ha
stole
ha
the
ha.
question right out of my mouth.
It's not that hard, Lachlan. I mean, I split pieces of myself into spark and salt, and you know, it's an easy way to keep things alive.
Does this thing have accurate organs?
No.
Oh my god, I don't even want to know.
It's made of snow and ice. If you damage it, it falls apart.
None of you trust me.
For good reason.
As far as multiple duplicates. That would be relatively simple. I suppose I could leave you with a fragment of myself to aid you in this, should it be something you wish.
A way to
That'd probably
contact.
be helpful.
Yeah, a way to contact would be very helpful.
Yes, I suppose it would be beneficial to have some way to check up on my... Well, I'm rather invested in you as a group now, so I suppose this will be rather entertaining.
Molly, I sent you a message.
That's right.
Does anyone else not find anything that Zypher says is remotely comforting?
No, not at all.
0.
I don't think he's here to comfort us.
Oh no, far from it.
I actually do.
He kind of looks at you and kind of gives you a weird, funny look, Rain. He's not used to people being comforted in his presence.
I'm an odd case.
And he confirms for you that yes, he can. He can can give you a part of his own essence to be able to contact him at any given time. And as you're all watching, you see Rain's duplicate start to like twitch and jerk and judder, seemingly on its own accord, while the others just stand there motionless.
Well, that can't be good.
Zypher just kind of squints at it for a second and just dismisses it. Like, not like gets rid of it, he just kind of dismisses what's happening. It's perfectly fine, perfectly fine. But yes. Nothing to worry about, nothing at all. But yes, as far as contacting me goes, I suppose you'll want something. So he takes a hand and he reaches into his own chest, into a portal of darkness, and pulls out this little spectral creature that appears to be a tiny miniature version of Zypher himself.
Oh, that's just not right.
Can we please say?
What?
Does it have the normal proportions of Zypher?
Please say that it's chibi.
No, it is more chibi style.
Yes.
It has the same facial
It's so
tattoos.
cute.
It's got the same hair. It's wearing the same pajamas as regular Zypher. And he proffers it out to you, Scratch. And the thing just kind of looks at you and just glares at you.
Oh, for me, I'm so thrilled.
I need to learn how to do that.
If I put this in a pocket, or like, well, will it suffocate?
No, he will not stay there for long, though. He will reappear. Whoever would like him can take him. And he coughs. Mini Zypher, to your master. And this thing floats up, and you notice it no longer has legs unless it's sitting. And it just kind of hovers there. I'm Ghost.
I'm gonna give it to Augie.
I was gonna say, give it to Brutus.
Mini Zypher you can use as your conduit with me should you have any additional questions for me, should you have any information I may find interesting. But also be aware, I will be able to use Mini Zypher to contact you as well. Me.
That's so cute.
Wonderful.
You do not need to feed him. You do not need to provide any maintenance for him. He will naturally draw upon the magic around you. Do not worry. He will not diminish your magic supplies, but as long as he is still continually exposed to magical beings, he will be perfectly fine. Should you put him in any sort of bag of holding or any sort of container, he will dissipate and he will manifest near you.
And don't feed him after midnight. Don't get him wet.
You're more than welcome to attempt to feed him. Not much will happen. Also,
Lachlan just says, I have enough going on in my head. I don't need that as well.
You sure? Yeah, hold him up.
Mini Zypher just is sitting there pouting at you, Lachlan.
Pardon?
He's just sitting there pouting at you.
I just flash my eyes in the colors of galaxies and cause pan flutes to blast around me.
It levitates off Scratch's hands and comes over to you because you are now the most powerfully magically charged being in this area.
Get it right, get it right.
I just imagine I imagine Lachlan running up and down the stacks of books and this little thing just floating after him.
Pretty much, just very casually flying behind him.
I'm gonna grab Brutus and just put Brutus up. Not able to lift Brutus, but I like raise Brutus's front legs as a shield.
It's a talking dog, not a magic dog.
Mini Zypher goes through Brutus to just kind of sit above your head, like right in between your horns.
You just hear. Rain! Rain! Please,
I will totally take him.
He wanted to jump into pool.
I will totally take him.
Just show that you're
Give me
magical.
a little guy.
Are you going to draw him to you?
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Okay. What are you going to use, a spell, or how do you want to draw him to? Because he's currently attached to Lachlan because of the magic.
The more panicked Lachlan gets, the more the panpipes go as well.
Correct, and the more firmly attached he becomes to you.
I would like to create showers of sparks using prestidigitation.
Okay.
My figuring is that, like a cat, because Zypher likes them so much, he'll be entranced by the shiny, sparkly things.
That's
like
pretty much.
Like a laser pointer.
That's pretty much what happens. You cast prestidigitation, you create the sparks, and Mini Zypher floats over to you and just kind of hovers above your head.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like play with him, just like causing sparks in like one hand and then the other, like have him chase around my horns or whatever.
He
I love
just
you should
like
check the message.
as you're casting the sparks, he'll just go back and forth.
Lachlan's just pressed up against the nearest bookshelf, just going. Is it gone?
You just see it, like you just see Mini Zypher hovering around Rain. Especially since she's actively giving it attention.
Now would be the most chaotic time for Pan to just talk in my head.
Oh, really? That's what we want to do.
I'm just observing.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you don't open your mouth around your Chaos DM. So, Lachlan, dear Lachlan, please, oh please, make a perception check for me.
Perception. Let's see.
Oh, yes.
Do you just want my passive?
Oh, no, I specifically need you to make a check. Because you are, in fact, panicking. Oh, goody! Please roll a percentile for me. Oh, good. So, you hear a voice in your head laughing at your misfortune. And then you hear a voice whisper in your ear, "You're only making me stronger," before it fades. Mini Zypher starts to float over towards you before getting distracted and going to hover over by Yude.
Why is he with me?
Magic friend.
I'm so glad I'm
Internal
the science
screaming.
one.
Cute.
I still love the meme of artificers when they enter an anti-magic field and their science stops working.
That's always fun. Cypher's just kind of chuckling as he watches you all, especially you, Lachlan, just panic at this little tiny thing.
I just looking rattled, I go up to Tanzanite and say, Tanzanite, you didn't hear like whispering in between the stacks at all?
No.
Oh great, just wanted to check that it was just me and
Lachlan, are you feeling okay? Like, more okay than normal? Because you're normally not super okay, but are you like a little more okay, or are you like a little bit less okay than normal?
yeah. I don't know. I'm torn between wanting the world to fall into chaos so that I can fix it and wanting the world to fall into chaos so I can revel in it.
How about we just don't have the world fall into chaos?
That
We
sounds
thought about
kind of
that.
boring.
You know what? I could go for some boring right now. I really could go for some boring.
Well, you need a drill.
She just kind of gives you a sigh and goes back to her book, like pointedly ignoring you.
Anyway, I had an idea regarding the whole essence copies thing. Could you attach it to currency?
Cypher looks at you very thoughtfully and just kind of. You mean to copy her essence into coins you spend. The more coins you spend, the farther the essence spreads, the more likely it'll be that someone will follow a false trail, driving them further away from you.
Exactly.
I like the way you think.
Thank you, so do I.
How long do the lot of you plan to habitate my home?
Not long,
Honestly,
I think.
hoping to get out of here as soon as possible, personally.
Understandable.
I like
If
it
you
here.
can give he just kind of smirks at you, Scratch, because he knows like you're a kobold. The surface is not your place. And he just kind of smiles and just kind of give me a day. I will see what I can come up with. It won't be perfect. It'll be as close as I can get it. But I will see about creating a facsimile of her essence to copy that you can spread about the world. Understand that if you are spreading her essence out, the farther it spreads, the more warped it will become. The more I make, the more warped it will become. And potentially it could become easier for someone to track. So be cautious where you use the coins.
Absolutely. We should only need 20?
20.
Yeah,
Well,
20.
we don't want it to become too warped. As per the warning.
I'm pretty sure that the large scale he was thinking of was in the hundreds. 20 shouldn't be that bad.
Yeah,
20
that's what I was agreeing with.
20 should be no problem. As I said, there will be some warping. It will not be an exact copy. But, as with anything, there's no possible way to truly replicate a soul. But it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
We just have to have them make a choice. Which one to go after.
True.
Cypher kind of looks over at Brutus, and much like a dog with a bone, the shiny thing is oftentimes much more tempting.
Hey, what do you mean a dog with a bone?
Cypher reaches into the
like
darkness.
Bones.
Cypher reaches into the darkness and pulls out like a meaty-looking thigh bone.
Brutus's eyes light up like,
He just offers it to Brutus with no hesitation, no worry.
Brutus says, "This proves nothing." And takes the bone.
Oh yeah, Zypher. As soon as Brutus was like, "This proves nothing," Zypher passed it over to him, just like, "Yes, it does. Don't worry." All right. Well, you are free to roam my castle. I ask that you please, and again looks at you, Lachlan. No experimenting on my staff, consensual or otherwise. I do have a handful of duties to attend, so I will be unavailable for the rest of the day. If you do feel the overwhelming urge to head into town, at least take someone as a translator with you. Other than that, welcome to my home. You can find your rooms relatively easily. Should you get lost in my castle, you will be drawn to your room. It will always be around the next corner. Do you have any questions before I depart?
Yes. Was that a no on if I could have if I could make a bargain for the book?
You and I will talk tomorrow after I have finished creating the coins. That's something I must think on, namely trying to figure out how you knew I had it.
I can tell you exactly.
Yune's gonna shoot him a look.
I would like to know if that simulacrum thing is in one of the normal books or one of the restricted books.
The simulacrum, it's most likely in one of the enchanted books. Those are the only ones that have any actual magic in them. You could theoretically find one in the normal library, but excuse me.
Challenge accepted. I want to learn it.
He just kind of waves a hand, like, have at, enjoy your time. Alright, any final questions for Zypher?
Not at the moment.
I assume Mini Magnus is gonna help us with the soul effort for when we find Opal.
I don't know about Mini Magnus, but Mini Zypher sure will.
Or Mini Zypher.
Hey, Mini Zypher is currently a conduit for you guys to communicate to Zypher through. So he will be useful for what you guys want him to be. So he's essentially a one-way telephone.
Okay.
Or potentially a two-way. He's potentially a two-way telephone, depending on if you guys communicate back and forth.
He's a pager.
Yeah, he's kind of a beeper.
He's adorable.
He's traumatized.
Oh, it's adorable. Oh, it's traumatized.
Oh, it's traumatized.
All right. Was there anything else you guys wanted to do in the library? Rain, I know you want to look for the simulacrum spell. Was there anything else you guys wanted to do here, or do we want to go ahead and call it for the night?
What sort of technology stuff did Hellstrom learn about? Any blueprints?
Blueprints you would have found, like the internal plumbing is the biggest one you would have found. That's like the most revolutionary.
And he already got that installed on the airship.
Exactly. There are some different war machines that you would have found.
Always good.
That would have been like upgrades for some basic stuff, catapult, ballista, trebuchet upgrades. But then even like the advancement of firearms, you would have noticed that a lot of the laser technology appears to have come from a source outside of Zypher, because you would have noted in the books it would have come with the metal men. And you
How
would
long
have
have the
noticed
metal men been here?
you would have discovered that the metal men have been here for about 25 years.
Well, that is way too long. That is more than enough time for them to get a factory.
Oh, I'm aware. You would have noticed that the metal men showing up revolutionized firearms and war technology, but it also had the subsequent effect of actually dampening agricultural technology. Since the metal men arrived, more farms have suffered and haven't been able to prosper like they did before because a lot of the efforts started to go towards these machines. You would have also learned that the metal men have kind of disappeared after a while. They don't really seem to be mentioned very much after the last great technological revolution.
Huh.
And they just kind of dropped off. You'll occasionally get notations that the metal men would appear in towns and would stay for a little while and then disappear again. Typically, there would be a string of disappearances after the metal men showed up. And then that would be about it.
Oh, joy.
And then you would note that there were some major advancements in agricultural technology. People were able to use magic more after these metal men disappeared and took their technology with them. Some occasionally they would be found, and some of the items would be repurposed into agricultural technology. Blueprints, you would have found a handful of gun blueprints, mostly archaic blueprints, things that you've seen already that are actually in the library. There's a half completed blueprint for what looks like an energy cannon, but it mostly consists of a half drawn sketch and about a third of a list of materials.
Yeah, research that.
Other than that, there's not a lot else as far as specific blueprints go. Most of the blueprints in the library are incomplete and are documented as unfinished and theoretics and archaic kind of stuff.
Okay.
Also, Lachlan, when are you not considering bad ideas?
Oh, I'm always considering. I like being mad because I can just come up with terrible ideas, and no one judges me for them. When I come up with bad ideas when I'm not mad, people are like, Lachlan, that's a terrible idea. Why would we do that? I'm like, no, I thought it was a good idea.
I feel like you're still being judged.
Oh, yes, but this time it's justly. It doesn't hurt as much because I'm not keeping my worst ideas in.
Valid? All right. Was there anything else? Any last minute stuff we wanted to do in the library?
Nope, I ain't got nothing.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I think we're good.
All right. Then I'm going to say, let's go ahead and close out the session here, and then we can pick up next week. We'll probably wind up ending the night. We'll probably pick back up next week after you guys leave the library, so that way we'll have more people with us as well, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay.
And I will go ahead and pass it back to Doomy for our closing announcements.
Sounds good. All right, everyone, that closes up another night of Adventures Anonymous. Thank you for those that hung out in the chat with us tonight. If you're new around here, please make sure you follow us. Check out the YouTube, subscribe, hit all that wonderful algorithmic stuff. Help us grow. We would like to grow. We're just a group of friends looking to have some fun and be a little entertaining. So check in with us. Check out the Twitter. Check out the Discord. All the links in the description and on the channel. And with all that said, remember, there's 20 sides to every story. Roll for yours. Have a good night, everyone.